Hi everyone! I know it's been a while since I've updated this page, and today I have the most special update. I became a mum. I know I didn't get very far with updating this vlog by the time I went quiet, and that was because in the middle of third year my life just changed in the most unexpected but beautiful way, because that's when I found out I was pregnant. I just want to give you guys some context as to what life was like before I found out I was pregnant. It was busy, it was chaotic, but it was something that I really learned to thrive in. I was juggling medical school and I was deep into this new health and fitness journey that had completely transformed my life. And on top of that, I was working as an agency midwife on labour ward just to really keep up my clinical competencies. About a year and a half before I found out I was pregnant, I'd taken a commitment to really start looking after my physical and mental health, and I just want to give a shout out to my coach Tori, who was amazing and really helped me to establish some healthy, sustainable habits that have, like I say, just transformed my life. By the time I'd found out I was pregnant, I think I'd lost just under 20 kilograms. I was walking at least 10,000 steps a day. I was strength training 3 times a week. I was running twice a week in preparation for a half marathon. And this lifestyle became something that I absolutely loved. The structure gave me so much clarity and really helped me anchor myself in the chaos that was medical school. It really helped me build physical power, physical strength, but also mental resilience as well. And that was something that was very much needed, because those first 2 years of medical school were really tough for me. As most of you will know, I came to medicine from a non-science background, and the first 2 years were heavily science-based, with lots of biochemistry, lots of anatomy and physiology, and it was really something that I'd never done in that much depth before. I felt like I was constantly trying to play catch up with myself. I was wondering whether I would ever wrap my head around these new concepts, and it really did leave me wondering whether I was in the right place, whether I was smart enough or good enough to be at medical school. That lifestyle that I had established, it really kept me going. It gave me so much clarity and really helped me deload from the stresses of life, and I think in hindsight it's a huge part of the reason I kept going. And then third year came around and everything changed for me. Third year was the year that we started clinical placements, and our course was predominantly clinical placements, being on the ward, interacting with patients, and that was everything that I knew and loved. I no longer felt like I was out of my depth completely. I felt like I was where I belonged, and I really felt like I wasn't just trying to become a doctor and getting nowhere with it, but I was actually truly becoming one. It was at this point where I felt like I wasn't just learning science from scratch, but I was really building on the wealth of knowledge that midwifery had given me, and this didn't just feel like a career change anymore, it was career progression. I felt like I was moving forward, not just physically, not just mentally, but within my career as well. It felt like I was really progressing and really thriving in my life. So that brings us to finding out that I was pregnant. I actually found out I was pregnant really early on. I think it was around the 4-week mark that I took a test and it was positive. But it's a funny story really. I was training so consistently, both within my strength training and my half marathon training, that I was always on my Apple Watch, always tracking my steps, and my heart rates had been on a downward trend for a long time, and then suddenly it had a huge spike. And I remember I was at the gym and suddenly got this notification that my heart rate had spiked, and I was just so confused. I did the only thing that came naturally to me, and I googled it, and I went on Reddit, and a lot of the comments were saying, well, this happened to me when I found out I was pregnant. So off I went to Boots and bought one of those early detection clear blue tests, and lo and behold, it was positive. This was the most lovely but most surprising news to me and my husband. It truly felt like a blessing within chaos. My pregnancy was lovely and beautiful, but it was really tough on me. Within a few weeks of being pregnant, I was diagnosed with hyperemesis, which is a condition where you vomit and have nausea excessively during your pregnancy. So I remember I was vomiting anywhere from 10 to 20 times a day, and ended up being completely bedridden. If I'm honest, I often didn't even have the strength to stand up. But medical school exams were just around the corner and I had to revise for them. So my days became a weird cycle of rest, revise, vomit, repeat over and over again. And I specifically remember I would be in bed doing short bursts of revision on my laptop, using PassMed, whatever I could really. Have my laptop in one hand and then I'd have a sick bucket in the other hand. And as I say, it was just a cycle of revise, vomit, and just doing what I could. And somehow I actually ended up passing my exams, which was a huge shock for me. And not only did I pass, but I actually did quite well in them, which was so lovely because with all the hardship that I went through with the hyperemesis, with first year and second year, it really just helped me feel that I was exactly where I needed to be. Unfortunately though, the hyperemesis did stick around for the majority of my pregnancy, and I really had to give myself full permission to slow down and no longer be that person that was strength training 3 times a week, walking their 10k steps a day, running, and I really found that quite mentally tough. As a midwife, this whole experience was just so humbling. I knew about hyperemesis, I'd seen patients with hyperemesis, but living it was just a completely different ballgame, and I have just a new level of respect for pregnant women and mums to be. I just think they are incredible. I then had to make the decision as to whether I was going to continue with medical school with a newborn or whether I was going to take a year out and allow myself to adjust to motherhood and get to know my baby. And this wasn't a decision that came lightly. I had to retake my second year of the course due to some personal circumstances, and I was already a little bit older than everybody else when I came to medicine, so there was a feeling that I was behind, and knowing that I was going to have a baby and potentially taking a year out, that felt quite frustrating to me, knowing that I was going to be yet another year behind my colleagues. I did come to the decision that taking a year out would be best for me and best for our baby. And in retrospect, I'm so glad that I did. Our daughter Inaya was born in November via emergency cesarean section, and she is just magic. She is incredible and amazing, and we love her so, so much. I've spent the last few months healing, spending time with our daughter, and just trying to be as present as I can for her. And I'm so glad that I did, because I can't imagine having missed out on these special moments that I have with her every single day. C-section recovery, it is no joke at all. Even as a midwife, knowing kind of the anatomy that is cut through when you have a major surgery like a C-section, it's so, so different when you're the one going through it. So desperate to get back to my pre-pregnancy lifestyle, to get really active, to stay really on top of my nutrition and feel well and feel healthy. And I had to really make myself slow down. It's like my mind was ready to go, but my body needed a little bit longer. So after about 12 weeks, which felt like a lifetime, and clearance from my doctor, I started strength training again, and I slowly started incorporating running. I did feel like a newbie again, and that's something that I'm still working on being okay with. I'm just enjoying the fact that I get to move my body in the way that I love and really push myself to build muscle and become stronger and fitter and faster. These days I spend most of my time, of course, with Inaya. We go for loads of walks, and her favourite thing is to just lie back in her pram and enjoy the sunshine, and it's just so wonderful to see. I want Inaya to grow up seeing movement as joy, as something that her mum does, because it brings her happiness, and I truly hope that my habits being modelled her as she grows up really has that impact on her. After about the 12-week mark as well, I slowly started easing my way back into studying, ready for September when I will start my 4th year of medical school. At my university, 4th year involves all of the niche specialties, so anything from family medicine, paediatrics, neurology, ophthalmology, and everything in between. So I'm excited to be exposed to these new specialties and really get to know what kind of doctor I want to be. To prepare for this, I've been going over the UK MLA content map and making crib sheets for each disease, really trying to get to grips with the information. My baby's just woken up, let's go and grab her. Here's my baby girl, fresh from her nap. So yes, as I was saying, I am slowly working my way through the UK MLA content map and making crib sheets on different diseases, just so that by the time I do go back to university, it will be a process of revision. Yeah, it will be a process of revision and placement, and hopefully that will allow me to free up my evening so that I can spend time with my daughter, because that is also just so important to me. So that's my update, midwife to medic and now mama. And even though it was completely unexpected and not at all how I thought my life would go, I am so grateful and so beyond happy for it to have happened this way. I'm really excited to hopefully bring you guys along with my journey on my year off, where I will be making videos about my exercise, my nutrition, studying, and all about being a mum. Thank you so much for watching, and bye from us. Say bye. You know, say bye.